channel. I'm Elisa and I am the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I have a brand new Cricut video for you. I want to give you an overview of the Cricut Explore Air 2, tell you a little bit about what it can do, and then I wanted to share a couple of the first projects that I decided to work on. So let's go. So this is my Cricut Explore Air 2, and if you have never heard of a Cricut machine before, this is a cutting machine. It can cut over 100 different types of materials. So you're talking paper and vinyl and cardstock and iron-on, cork, anything that you can think of. This machine is going to be able to cut almost anything that you'll need as a crafter. So it actually has two tool holders, one for a blade and one for a pen or a scoring tool. So you can actually draw with the Cricut as well, draw and then cut. There's a print and cut option. There are all kinds of things that you're able to do with this awesome machine. The other thing that I really like about the Cricut is that it works through Bluetooth technology. So I'm able, right now my Cricut is on my desk because I have been using it so much, but if I wanted to, I could move it somewhere else in my craft room and still work through the design space on my computer, and it would be able to send the files straight over there. There doesn't have to be a wire connecting the two, which makes it really easy, especially when you're trying to organize your craft room and work with the flow. You don't want to have wires going everywhere. So you guys know that I am a paper crafter at heart. So first and foremost, I'll be using my Cricut machine to help me in my current projects like Bible journaling and art journaling and memory keeping. And I can do that because it will allow me a lot of freedom to design really precise cuts, to customize things to fit in the margin of my Bible, to fit on a certain memory keeping page. And the options that are available in the Cricut design space are amazing. So you can check out that Cricut Access, and you have so many already pre-done designs at your fingertips that it makes it look like you're a pro crafter without having to go over the top and create all of your own designs. The other thing that I am super excited about is to start working with vinyl, especially with iron-on vinyl for t-shirts and for clothing items. I am a lover of all of those sassy sayings that you see all over the place, and I happen to love having them on t-shirts. So I'm super excited to be able to customize and create my own clothing with my Cricut and with some of their awesome iron-on vinyl. For me, a cutting machine is a big investment, and if I'm going to make an investment like that, I really want it to be able to do more than just cut paper and ephemera pieces. Yes, I love paper, but I want to be able to do some more projects around my house, like home decor, creating custom clothes for my kids. And so I really like that this machine has the versatility that makes it really worth the investment. So let me show you what I'm doing. This is part of the Cricut Access, and when you subscribe, you have access to a bunch, like hundreds and hundreds of different designs that are pre-done, and there's nothing you have to do. All you do is go through, click on the design you like. I'm going to pull up a template of a shirt just to make sure that it looks right proportion wise on the shirt, and I don't have to change anything. You can see I'm just going to drag it down. Yes, that will end up looking fantastic on my shirt. And then all I have to do is go over and click the create button, and it sorts it onto the mat for me. It really makes crafting easy. You don't have to second guess because it goes through and it shows you step by step what to do on loading the machine. You pick the particular material that you're working with. You can see that I have some iron-on vinyl right here. It even reminds you which way to put the vinyl down. So it makes everything so simple. So if you're a new crafter or an experienced crafter, you will definitely be able to use this machine. Loading the mat, super easy. Press the flashing arrow button and it gets set. And then when this button is flashing right here, this is the make it button, and that tells you that it's ready to go. So I might be an experienced paper crafter, but I do not have a lot of experience with vinyl, and I was really nervous to start working with it and decided to just jump in and do this as one of my very first projects with my Cricut Explore Air 2. And I can tell you it was so easy. I just chose one of the pre-done designs from the Cricut Access and from the design software. It was sized correctly. It tells you how to put your material down on the mat. It even reminds you to mirror the image when you're cutting iron-on vinyl, it is kind of foolproof, which I really appreciate. It makes me feel like I'm a much more experienced vinyl crafter than I am. And the final project came out super cute, and I cannot wait to show you how it worked. And now it's done. Once my vinyl was cut, the next step was to weed it, which is removing any of the pieces that you don't want on the final project. So you can see I'm using a set of tweezers right here to pull up the vinyl pieces that I didn't want. I just left it on the mat while I did the weeding, just to make it a little bit easier to hold it in place, and removing all these pieces so that I can see that negative part. I also worked with an Cricut Easy Press, which made it super simple. The Cricut website has it marked how to set the temperature for a bunch of different kinds of materials. So for iron-on materials, it was 330 degrees and 30 seconds. The timer is right on the machine. It is like a super big iron that you can set really specifically to different temperatures. It really took the guesswork out. When I've tried ironing on things before, I just use a regular iron, and it's hard to make sure that it's even throughout just because it was a smaller iron. So now it is all set. I'm going to let it cool down, and then you just slowly peel back the adhesive piece, and then the piece is ready to go. And I was so excited with the final result. It turned out super, super cute. So now let me show you how I plan to use my Cricut. Just a little example of how I'm going to use it in my paper crafting, and that is by making unique custom ephemera pieces. So the first thing I'm going to do is put this silver, and this is the beautiful true brushed paper from Cricut, and it is some gorgeous, gorgeous paper to use. Let me set my materials. Again, the design software makes it super easy. So all I did was look in images and search for a rose, which I found on Cricut Access, and it's this beautiful outline of a rose. And I've copied it, and I will contour my second piece. Contour is simply when you can turn off or on different sections of that piece to be cut. So basically what I'm doing is making one solid piece. So one outline and one solid that I will layer on top of each other. I'm changing the color just so it's easier to see, bringing the outline to the front, and you can see how those two pieces will work together. When you do that, the Cricut sorts it for you. So it shows you what to put in first, and then you can see the purple mat below will be what to put in second. I have already created a file using these pieces and a few other flower outlines that I found, and so that's what I'm planning on using, and I'm going to do 3 different colors. So again, all you have to do is select the material that you're going for. On the Cricut, I have it set to custom, and then I will come over here and select the true brushed paper. It's a bit thicker than regular cardstock, so I'm really excited to see how the intricate cutting works out on that thicker paper with the fine point blade. I think it's going to be absolutely beautiful when I'm able to piece these together. Okay, so I will load it right here, press load, so that is ready to go, and I will start with the silver pieces. I sped up the cutting a good deal, but I love that it already knew that because this was a thicker paper that it was going to have to go over each cut twice. And I didn't have to guess or second guess myself. I just put in the material I had, and Cricut Design Space told my Cricut Explore Air 2 to do all of the correct cuts. All right, now I just have to take it off the paper and load up the next color. One trick is to make sure you pull the mat away from the paper to avoid a lot of curling. So once you remove those pieces, then you can look back at the design software and it tells you what color to do next. So next will be green. This is a picture of the screen as it's cutting, and here we go. I will load up the green paper onto my mat. You can see my beautiful outline pieces right there. And then I just take it over to the Cricut Explore and press go and it knows what to cut next because it's already told me put in your green cardstock and you are ready to go. So it'll cut the green solid shapes next. Now these are really intricate shapes like I mentioned before, so these are not things that I would be able to easily fussy cut by hand, especially those outline pieces. And of course there are metal dies out there on the market that cut all kinds of intricate patterns, but you can't really customize it for the size you want. And as a Bible journaler and someone that likes to work in smaller formats like traveler's notebooks and mini albums, I like being able to size it down to something that works for me. I also like being able to size it up for some larger display pieces. I am a member of the PTA and I do projects with my kids, so being able to make some larger scale pieces is something else that I'm really looking forward to. So what my Cricut is really allowing me to do is focus on the fun part of crafting. I get to do the designing, I get to choose the projects, I can piece together the different elements, but I don't have to worry about the cutting. And I get to experiment with a lot of different materials that I wouldn't normally reach for because I can feel confident that Cricut will help me to cut it and help me to cut it accurately. On a side note, I absolutely fell in love with this true brush paper. It is so gorgeous and I cannot wait to use it for a bunch of other projects. But you'll see this one is wrapping up. This is my last color to cut, and again it places it on the mat so you can really preserve the paper, which I'm super excited about because I fell in love with this paper and will be using every little scrap up. These are my last pieces, so all I have to do is to piece the two parts together. Okay, and they're done. So it took me about an hour this afternoon to create these two projects, a gorgeous tank that I'll be able to wear all summer. Super excited about that. And then of course, these beautiful custom ephemera pieces with the intricate cuts that will be gorgeous in my Bible or in my art journal. I just think these pieces are so unique. I love all that the Cricut has to offer and I can't wait to try more crafts. Thank you again to Cricut for sending me the Explore Air 2 to work with. I cannot wait to dive in and learn even more about this machine. If you have any questions, make sure to leave a comment below. I have all the supplies that I used in today's video linked below as well if you're interested. I hope you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.